The Chicago Electrical Code test involves several key procedures. Firstly, the process begins with submitting an application to the City of Chicago's Department of Buildings. Secondly, upon receiving the application, the Department of Buildings will schedule an inspection. Thirdly, during the inspection, an electrical inspector will thoroughly examine the electrical system of the building or premises in question. Fourthly, the inspector's primary focus will be to verify that the electrical system adheres to the Chicago Electrical Code and all other relevant applicable codes. Fifthly, following the inspection, the inspector will compile a report detailing the findings of the inspection. Sixthly, if the electrical system successfully passes the inspection, the Department of Buildings will issue a certificate of compliance. Now regarding amendments pertaining to class control transformer limiting mini breakers, the 2023 edition of the Chicago Electrical Code permits the use of these breakers under certain conditions. Class control transformer limiting mini breakers are compact circuit breakers specifically engineered for branch circuit protection in both residential and commercial settings. These breakers can be implemented as branch circuit breakers within panel boards and switchboards, provided that they are rated for a maximum of 120/240 volts alternating current. However, it is crucial to note that class control transformer limiting mini breakers possess a lower interrupting rating, typically ranging from 5 kA to 10 kA, in comparison to standard circuit breakers, which typically range from 10 kA to 15 kA. Consequently, these breakers cannot be utilized in applications necessitating a higher interrupting rating such as those encountered in industrial environments. Furthermore, class control transformer limiting mini breakers must bear the marking control transformer limiting to clearly indicate their classification. It is important to understand that the Chicago Electrical Code is based on the National Electrical Code, but it incorporates local amendments. For comprehensive details and restrictions concerning the utilization of class control transformer limiting mini breakers in Chicago, consult Section 240.8 of the Chicago Electrical Code. In addition, it is advisable to contact the City of Chicago's Department of Buildings for further clarification or guidance. Let's delve deeper into the specifics of the Chicago Electrical Code test procedures. The application process involves providing detailed information about the electrical system to be inspected, including its design, components, and intended use. This allows the Department of Buildings to assess the scope of the inspection and assign the appropriate inspector. During the scheduling phase, the Department of Buildings will coordinate with the applicant to find a mutually convenient time for the inspection. It is crucial to ensure that the premises are accessible and that all relevant documentation is readily available for the inspector's review. The inspection itself is a comprehensive assessment of the electrical system's safety and compliance with the Chicago Electrical Code. The inspector will examine various aspects of the system, including wiring, grounding, overcurrent protection, and equipment installation. They will also verify that all materials and equipment used in the system are approved for their intended purpose. Code compliance is the ultimate goal of the inspection. The inspector will meticulously compare the electrical system against the requirements of the Chicago Electrical Code, identifying any violations or deficiencies. These may include improper wiring methods, inadequate grounding, or the use of non-compliant equipment. The report generated by the inspector will summarize the findings of the inspection, highlighting any areas of non-compliance. This report serves as a roadmap for corrective actions that must be taken to bring the electrical system into compliance with the code. Finally, approval is granted when the electrical system successfully passes the inspection and all identified deficiencies have been addressed. The Department of Buildings will issue a certificate of compliance, indicating that the system meets the requirements of the Chicago Electrical Code and is safe for use. Moving on to the amendments regarding class control transformer limiting mini breakers, it is essential to understand their characteristics and limitations. These breakers are designed to provide overcurrent protection for branch circuits in residential and commercial applications. They are typically smaller and more compact than standard circuit breakers, making them suitable for use in space-constrained panel boards. The use of class control transformer limiting mini breakers is subject to certain limitations, primarily related to their interrupting rating. The interrupting rating is the maximum fault current that a circuit breaker can safely interrupt without failing. Class control transformer limiting mini breakers typically have a lower interrupting rating than standard circuit breakers, which means they may not be suitable for use in applications where high fault currents are expected. Industrial settings, for example, often have higher fault current levels due to the presence of large motors and other electrical equipment. In such cases, standard circuit breakers with higher interrupting ratings are required. The marking of class control transformer limiting mini breakers with the letters control transformer limiting is crucial for identification purposes. This marking ensures that inspectors and electricians can readily distinguish these breakers from standard circuit breakers and understand their limitations. The Chicago Electrical Code, while based on the National Electrical Code, incorporates local amendments to address specific needs and conditions in the city. These amendments may relate to various aspects of electrical installations, including wiring methods, grounding requirements, and equipment specifications. Section 240.8 of the Chicago Electrical Code specifically addresses the requirements for overcurrent protection, including the use of class control transformer limiting mini breakers. This section outlines the conditions under which these breakers are permitted and the limitations that apply. It is essential to consult this section for detailed guidance on the proper application of class control transformer limiting mini breakers in Chicago. In addition to consulting the Chicago Electrical Code, it is advisable to contact the City of Chicago's Department of Buildings for further clarification or guidance. The Department of Buildings can provide expert advice on the interpretation and application of the code, ensuring that electrical installations are safe and compliant. Let's now elaborate on the steps involved in the Chicago Electrical Code test procedures. Firstly, the application must be complete and accurate, providing all necessary information about the electrical system. This includes details such as the building's address, the type of electrical system, the number of circuits, and the intended use of the system. Secondly, the scheduling of the inspection should be done in a timely manner, allowing sufficient time for the inspector to thoroughly examine the electrical system. It is important to be flexible and accommodating when scheduling the inspection, as the Department of Buildings may have a limited number of inspectors available. Thirdly, the inspection itself should be conducted in a professional and thorough manner. The inspector should be provided with all necessary access and documentation to facilitate the inspection. Any questions or concerns raised by the inspector should be addressed promptly and accurately. Fourthly, code compliance should be the primary focus of the inspection. The inspector should carefully compare the electrical system against the requirements of the Chicago Electrical Code, identifying any violations or deficiencies. It is important to understand that the code is intended to ensure the safety of people and property, so compliance is essential. Fifthly, the report generated by the inspector should be clear and concise, summarizing the findings of the inspection and highlighting any areas of non-compliance. The report should also provide recommendations for corrective actions that must be taken to bring the electrical system into compliance with the code. Sixthly, approval should be granted only after all identified deficiencies have been addressed and the electrical system has been brought into full compliance with the Chicago Electrical Code. The certificate of compliance issued by the Department of Buildings serves as proof that the electrical system is safe and compliant, and it is required for obtaining occupancy permits and other approvals. Now, let's delve deeper into the amendments regarding class control transformer limiting mini breakers. These breakers are designed to provide overcurrent protection for branch circuits, which are the circuits that supply power to individual outlets, lights, and appliances. Overcurrent protection is essential to prevent damage to electrical equipment and to reduce the risk of fire. Class control transformer limiting mini breakers are typically used in residential and commercial applications where the fault current levels are relatively low. They are not suitable for use in industrial applications or other settings where high fault currents are expected. The interrupting rating of a circuit breaker is a measure of its ability to safely interrupt a fault current. A circuit breaker with a higher interrupting rating can safely interrupt a larger fault current than a circuit breaker with a lower interrupting rating. Class control transformer limiting mini breakers typically have interrupting ratings ranging from 5 kA to 10 kA, while standard circuit breakers typically have interrupting ratings ranging from 10 kA to 15 kA or higher. The marking of class control transformer limiting mini breakers with the letters control transformer limiting is a requirement of the Chicago Electrical Code. This marking helps to ensure that these breakers are properly identified and used in accordance with their limitations. The Chicago Electrical Code is based on the National Electrical Code, but it incorporates local amendments to address specific needs and conditions in the city. These amendments may relate to various aspects of electrical installations, including wiring methods, grounding requirements, and equipment specifications. Section 240.8 of the Chicago Electrical Code specifically addresses the requirements for overcurrent protection, including the use of class control transformer limiting mini breakers. This section outlines the conditions under which these breakers are permitted and the limitations that apply. In addition to consulting the Chicago Electrical Code, it is advisable to contact the City of Chicago's Department of Buildings for further clarification or guidance. The Department of Buildings can provide expert advice in the interpretation and application of the code, ensuring that electrical installations are safe and compliant. When working with electrical systems, it is essential to follow all applicable codes and regulations. This helps to ensure the safety of people and property and to prevent electrical hazards. The Chicago Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of rules and regulations that govern the design, installation, and maintenance of electrical systems in the city of Chicago. Compliance with the code is essential for all electrical work performed in the city. Class control transformer limiting mini breakers are a type of circuit breaker that is commonly used in residential and commercial applications. These breakers are designed to provide overcurrent protection for branch circuits, and they are typically smaller and more compact than standard circuit breakers. However, class control transformer limiting mini breakers have a lower interrupting rating than standard circuit breakers, so they are not suitable for use in applications where high fault currents are expected. The Chicago Electrical Code permits the use of class control transformer limiting mini breakers under certain conditions, but it is important to understand the limitations of these breakers and to use them only in accordance with the code. If you are unsure whether a class control transformer limiting mini breaker is suitable for a particular application, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer. In addition to the information provided in this discussion, it is important to consult the Chicago Electrical Code and the National Electrical Code for complete and up-to-date information on electrical safety and compliance. These codes are regularly updated to reflect the latest advances in electrical technology and safety practices. By following the guidelines and requirements outlined in these codes, you can help to ensure the safety of people and property and to prevent electrical hazards.